Well, it's Thursday. It's time for Thursday Papers with Mike and Greg.
Read all about it. It's
There he goes.
Thursday. Last chance to read real news before the Friday night news dump. A Friday night, if you guys don't know it, that's when the good shit comes out.
Stuff they want to hide.
Stuff they want to hide, especially on a 3-day weekend. Like this past weekend, I was watching hard on Friday night, but that's when that military stuff came out.
Totally. Yeah. And the Russia stuff. Yep. All of it.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for checking in on me. I had mentioned that I was depressed on the Sunday paper, but I'll tell you what, exercised every day since then. Played some paddle tennis on the beach with Owen today.
Nice.
Played 3 sets, dove in the ocean, rode the bike home, outdoor shower, fucking boom.
Wow.
Yeah. That's all I got to do.
I checked in on you and you wrote back, thanks for checking that you were doing well. And you're like, I'm heading to the beach. You want to join? And then I completely ignored it.
Then you ghosted me. Yeah. That's about par for the course.
I would never ghost a guy that said he wasn't doing well. You had said you were doing all right. That's ghost worthy. You can take it. Yeah. Next time you want to see me, tell me you're not doing so hot. Those are the people I see.
That's a very Irish thing. Is like, we're the ones that will send you a mass card if somebody dies, but we don't really want to hear about it. We want to hear the funny stories about the person that died, but we don't want to really hear about the sadness.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Matt's mom died, right?
I do. No, I know.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
sad.
Well,
okay.
Welcome to Thursday Papers. Starting off, as always, we do corrections. This is from Ellen D. I'm glad, Greg. Hey, Greg, I'm glad you watched that Japanese movie. I watched it when it first came out. Reminded me of you and the stories you've told in your podcast about the small misdemeanors you and your rapscallion Irish family pulled when you were younger. The movie is called Shoplifters, not Pickpocket. You fucking idiot. Sincerely, Ellen D.
I like that. So sweet. Right up to the end. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was a little gut punch. She really drew me in on that one.
I don't think it's a real L&D.
It's called, right. I'm sure it's somebody else. Oh, L&D. I just put that together. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you
By
shoplift?
the way, I'm not L&D, you fucking idiot.
You fucking whore. Did you shoplift as a kid?
I remember I took a couple of whatchamacallit bars from this corner grocery thing, and it really was, I don't want to excuse myself at all, but peer pressure was a big part of it. I remember other kids, the green light from me, because I think I was more scared. And by the way, and again, I'm not letting myself off the hook, scared of being caught. Not scared, I wasn't hesitant for any good moral reason.
Right.
It was all because I thought I'd be caught. But my dad took a very effective route when he brought up, I forgot how it came up, but he asked, he's like, you guys don't ever steal or anything like that, right? He goes, because you have to picture that poor business owner. Imagine if it was my store. And he goes, if it's my store, you're stealing, from me. You're not stealing from Nestle or Hershey's.
Right.
You're stealing from me. And that was actually very effective.
Here's what was effective for me. When we would go to my grandfather's house in the Bronx, there was a store around the corner on Randall Avenue called Cards and Stuff. And we used to call it Cards and Lift because me and my cousins would go in there and we'd rob them. And one time I was probably about 9, and I took, remember those little guns and they shot darts that had plungers on them? Like little plunger tips? So we're sitting it's like Christmas. I was sitting at the dinner table, and I had a lot of fucking cousins. I had like 21 cousins or something, and tons of aunts and uncles. Everybody would drink hard. Jameson's and Schaefer beer.
And toy guns.
And toy guns, they don't mix. So I give it to my father. My father's sitting at the end of the table, and he takes it, and as a joke, he points it at my grandmother, pulls the trigger, and the plunger dart hits her in the face, and my uncle slapped me. That about sums up my life with my family.
I thought it was going to go in her eye. That's perfect, though.
Yeah.
Remember those little, they were newspaper candy, I think they call them candy stores, right? Also?
Yeah.
At my grandmother's place in the Bronx, around the corner also, but it was packed. It was like the old version of a general, maybe the new version of a general store that was like, all right, you have the Post. Do you have, cookies? Do you have fucking candy? Do you have a deck of cards? And do you have birthday candles? Yep, got them all. Do you have the paddle that hits the little ball? Yep, got that also.
Yeah.
And the place was like a 12 by 12 store.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And those were truly American dream type businesses. That was truly like somehow this guy from Italy or Ireland pulled together enough money to get a little store, work 14 hours a day, and now the Koreans do it. You know, you see a lot of Korean stores. Same thing.
And then this American disgrace walks in and steals his stuff.
Yeah, right. All right, so that's a correction. The other correction, well, let's skip it. Let's do it on Sunday because we got a lot to get to today.
Okay.
New segment suggested by a listener. I should know that listener's name. I will say it in the next episode. Suggested we start doing This Day in History, as a lot of newspapers do. So in This Day in History, which is, we're taping this on the 8th, so we'll say on September 8th. Coming out on the 10th, in a controversial executive action, President Gerald Ford pardons his disgraced predecessor, Richard Nixon, for crimes he's committed. And Ford later defended this action before the House Judiciary Committee, explaining he wanted to end the national divisions created by the Watergate scandal. Was that the right thing to do? I mean, it's a big question because the country, like it is today, was very divided. And the feeling that Ford had was we should move past this and get back together as a country.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder what historians, that was the story. And I wonder how much we did move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because depending on who's saying move on, it could be very lame. Like there should be justice. So many people probably didn't move on at all.
Well, I mean, if you look at what happened with apartheid in South Africa, there was truth commissions, and they've done that. They did that after World War II with the Nazis. They had truth commissions where they had trials. People got to speak. People that had been violated got to speak, but then there were not punishments doled out, and they felt that was cathartic and cleansing and restorative for society. So,
right.
The fact that people saw that there was a why am I forgetting the name?
Name of what?
Impeachment. There was an impeachment, and that it worked, even though ultimately he was not convicted. He was pardoned. The process worked, and that was empowering, and people felt that that's all we needed to do. Now, if I'm Gerald Ford's wife, I'm going to be a dick monster because I know no matter what I do and how much of a cuck I make that guy, he's going to pardon me. He's going to forgive me. If I'm his kids, I'm stealing the car. I'm staying out all night, stealing his coin collection to buy an 8-ball of blow.
By the way, just as we were doing the story, I looked up this little tidbit. During the Watergate scandal, President Nixon's lawyer suggested that a self-pardon would be legal. So
really?
because the question is, can a president pardon himself?
That came up when Trump was being impeached, and he and his people were pushing for the same thing.
And then, so in the same little tidbit, while the Department of Justice issued a memorandum opinion on August 5th of 74 stating that a president cannot pardon himself.
Yeah.
Well, what do we think the Department of Justice, what kind of memo do you think they'd cough up these days?
Yeah, right. And the other weird thing about it is, Ford was not Nixon's vice president. It was Spiro Agnew. And Spiro Agnew got bounced out of office for, I don't know what he did, some kind of...
Taxes, right?
Was it taxes? Yeah.
I think.
So Ford was, I don't know what the process was Ford the Senate Majority Leader? Who gets stepped up to vice president? I think...
No, didn't he go to... Oh yeah, I don't. And I should know more about that. Well, we're gonna get
because I know succession is president, vice president, and then I think it's Senate. Oh, Speaker of the House, not Senate Majority Leader.
I don't know. God,
anyway,
people are probably banging on their steering wheels right now listening to this. But
we will hear it on corrections. All right, let's get to a couple stories, Mike.
All right.
Here's a fun one. This candy maker has decided David Klein is the guy, Jelly Belly Jelly Beans. I think the jelly bean company in the country is giving away the company or a factory to anybody that can. There's a treasure hunt, and you gotta buy a ticket. It's $50 to buy a ticket to the treasure hunt, and then whoever finds this treasure wins a fucking candy factory.
It's so romantic because of because of Willy Wonka and everything, but like running a factory when it's not a Hollywood factory.
Yeah, right.
Even those.
Yeah, there's no Oompa Loompas that are doing all the grunt work and don't get paid. They're not union.
No,
you think Oompa Loompas are unionized?
There's actually tons of them, but you're going to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, right. No, they're not unionized, and they'll sue you if they get injured on the job. And also, like, yeah, running a factory, it'd be the worst fucking job. And I wonder whoever wins has got some fucking grandparent laying in bed, some lazy piece of shit who just keeps buying tickets for his grandson.
4 of them. By the way, all 4 grandparents alive. I don't think that was true in such squalid conditions.
Right.
Also, is this little girl or boy who wins this amazing prize of running a factory? Must they move then to Mexico where the factory is located?
Yeah. One other story, Mike, why don't you update us on what's going on? This is kind of your story, Sturgis.
Okay, so there's a huge story on Sturgis, which is a study came out from California. So it's all over the news, and we had a lot of listeners write in to say we should really follow up on this because we kind of called it. But the study suggests that Sturgis led to 260,000 COVID-19 cases. So do you have the stats there?
Yeah, they basically said that the amount of money it will cost to deal with this is in the neighborhood of $12 billion.
Which I don't really buy. So there's a lot of critics of this. The study hasn't been peer-reviewed. And they applied some interesting math. I think I called it up here. Hold on. They applied some interesting math, which was, let me find it.
All right, but let's just say, while you're looking it up, let me crunch some numbers. Let's say this is off by 50%. Let's say this is off by 90%. Now, if it's off by, that's 25,000 cases will have happened. And I think the death rate is around 2%. So... out of 20,
lower, but yeah.
No, I think it's around 2%.
Okay.
So out of 25,000, 2% of 25,000 is about 2,500 divided by 20% is...
I'm not even going to try.
It's hundreds. It's hundreds of deaths. I'm going to say 500 deaths. So,
okay.
I don't know. Is that okay? Is that okay that they all had a drunken rally and
almost
hundreds of people died?
Almost as many of them died driving off the highway on their motorcycles without their helmet.
That's right.
That's the real.
Not to mention, these people smoke Marlboro Reds. They are way more susceptible to catching this virus than I. Granted, they're not black because black people seem to catch it. Do they catch it more frequently, or do they have a harder time with the actual virus?
Oh, I should lead by saying I don't know. My guess was generally, without talking about race, the poorer communities are hit much harder. Poorer communities have worse nutrition, more health issues, and far less healthcare.
Hospitals.
Far less healthcare, exactly, and access to top healthcare.
Right.
So there's that.
Right.
There's also many of them who are undocumented who probably fear like getting anything treated as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is controversial. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem said that the study was fiction. She criticized journalists who reported it, but it was covered by Fox News. I got all my stats from Fox News on this.
I know. I think Fox News, though, in addition to being, questionable on many levels, is also super lazy. And I think like all the other super lazy outlets, they just kind of ran with the story. But this is one thing I read that confused me. So the way they got to that number of $12.2 billion of a potential public health cost was it came from a separate study published last month by 2 economists. And the study found that the non-fatal COVID-19 cases cost a weighted average, get this, of $46,000 per case. But don't many of these cases cost zero?
Well, I think if many cost zero, but I think that if you end up on a respirator, that could be $500,000.
For one patient?
Oh, sure. Being on a respirator? Are you shitting me?
Then let him die. Let him die. That's like.
Oh no! Don't say that. Don't say that.
I mean, come on. What? That's like. Are we gonna save the goldfish or flush it?
So you're saying once somebody's on a once somebody's at the point where they need a respirator, we should let them die?
If it costs that much. What, is that heartless? What?
What is the price of a human life? I mean, if you talk to insurance companies, there are people whose job it is to assign value to human life. And if you're a male and you're the breadwinner, or a female that's the breadwinner, your life is worth more of a payout. In other words, if there's an accident and it's negligence on the part of the city, and your son dies, and he's 11 or he's a baby, the payout is nominal. But if it's you and you're the bread earner, it can be millions of dollars. So they put prices on a life.
I think there are prices on everything. Did I ever tell you that story? My good friend, old friend, Joe Tonetti, he's an artist, and he was working in Museum of Modern Art, I believe it was, in New York. And I went and visit him on a lunch hour, and he gave me quick tour, insider's tour. And he was like, you know about this painting? And I was like, oh, yeah, no, like I recognize that. He's like, yeah, that's high on the list. I'm like, what list? He's like, oh, the fire list. I'm like, what fire list? He's like, oh, there's sort of a priority if shit goes sideways, what to grab first.
No shit.
And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't all art subjective and everything? Obviously, there's literal prices when they auction, but even in the museum, and some factors were like, was it on loan from another museum? You know what I mean? But that there was kind of like the fire drill pecking order of what got grabbed.
Dude, if I was in the museum and there was a fire, I'd go to the fucking modern wing and I would just start the canvas that's just white, that's worth $12 million. I'll pull out my Bic and throw some fucking gas on it. I swear to God, I get so angry when I go to the modern wing. I can't go to the Guggenheim and these places.
Blue Square.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I don't really buy this math because also, listen, the $46,000 per case, I don't know how it gets that high when most cases are going to cost zero if you have COVID. Other, like, maybe the cost of a bad cold for some. Keep in mind, some of these cases we have to factor in don't have any of the symptoms. And then also, is the respirator that, according to a lot of studies, the respirators are killing people. So remember, you can't count any of the respirator costs of people that died. These were the cases. What do they call them? The non-death cases.
Oh, really?
The non-fatal. Yeah, they were talking. This study assumed that these were the non-fatal cases.
I don't know. One of the things they always factor in is if you didn't go to work, that's a loss of income, a loss of, it hurts the economy if people aren't working. There's all that they factor in.
Well, if I didn't come to work to this Thursday podcast, I'd probably make money some other way.
What are you talking about? We got ads.
That's right. I mean, I wouldn't lose money. Oh,
You're
okay.
Right. You break even. Speaking of which, let's talk about our good friends over at Seaview Lobster Company. Tom,
wait, did you get lobsters? Why are we reading this again?
I haven't even heard from fucking Kevin. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Are you not getting any orders at all?
I think he says he listens to this. He doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, I know. If you want to get some lobster, the freshest
Let's get
way
Kevin's
to get
attention. Let's do an ad for his competitor next week.
Jimmy's Lobsters in Bangor, Maine. Don't you want your lobster from a place called Bangor?
Bayview Lobsters. We can say lobsters cheaper because we don't have a sea view.
In all seriousness, check out their website is seaviewlobster.com. It's terrible. It's antiquated. That's how real they're keeping it up in Maine. To order it, you got to call them. 800-245-4997. The lobster's great, and you know it is because their website sucks.
Good ad read.
Should we all right, let's do a letter real quick. We're way over time.
Are we?
We're at 20.
Holy moly, let's wind this thing up.
Already. All right. Hey, Greg and Mike. In conversation about wedding bands and the latest Thursday papers, Greg speculated his father was buried with his wedding band on before stating factually that he was definitely buried with his driver. Only in the next phrase was it clarified he was a big golfer, whereupon I burst out laughing as with the context, I had interpreted driver as chauffeur. Love the podcast, Kyle. Kyle, are we in ancient Egypt? Who has a servant buried with them?
I don't even think then they put him in the same tomb, in the same, casket or whatever it was called then.
Right. And plus, how would he get to the cemetery if we put his driver in there?
Right. That is funny though.
All right. This is from by the way, if you enjoy the podcast, go to the Apple Podcast site and leave us a review. It's really nice. Leave us some stars. It helps us move up in the rankings, get some more listeners. This is from one that says, I am a Joanne. 6 stars. Love these guys. I wake up on Sunday morning singing the original Sunday Papers song. Can't wait to listen to these guys while making breakfast. Their humor is my cup of tea.
I like that.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
That's a nice one.
All right. Let's get to some reviews. This week, my movie review, I watched 2. My daughter, I fucking love my daughter because she has such a dark, interesting, funny sense of humor.
Is your review about your daughter? Did you freeze or are you just staring me down?
Just staring at you. She likes watching movies ironically. Like we watched High School Musical 1 through 3 or 4, however many there were. And
wow, you're a good dad.
It's like Mystery Science 2000. We watch, or 3000? We watch 2 of the Twilight movies this week, and they are so fucking good. They are
good.
The acting is atrocious. The cinematography is particularly bad. Just everything about it is cheesy, but they're good. Somehow you walk away thinking about the movie and feeling something about the movie. So that was fun.
Were you team Jacob or team, what's the other guy?
Edward.
Who could have been team Jacob? I never understood that.
Well, Jacob was fucking ripped. He had a sick body. I mean, if I could have any body I've ever seen, I think it might be Jacob's body.
Well, it sounds like you might be team Jacob.
You asked why some people might like him. All I know is after there was a bunch of scenes with her and Jacob and he was shirtless because he's a wolf, then they cut back to Edward. And remember, he took his shirt off to walk into the square in part 2. He looked so scrawny and pale. All I could think was like, you may want to rethink Bachelor #1 on this one.
Nice.
What'd you watch this week?
Well, I watched that. We talked on Sunday about that missing leg story, that the guy found a missing leg, and it reminded me of that documentary Finders Keepers, which I knew about, but I had never seen. So I went and watched it, and there's a lot of rich North Carolina and South Carolina characters in it.
Yeah.
And so a leg is found. I'm not giving anything away here. And the person who finds it won't give it back.
That's great.
That's all I'll say. But it's a great documentary. I think it was on Amazon. I'm not sure. It was not on Netflix any longer.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the last episode of season 1 of Alone with my girls after this.
I just watched that last week, so we can talk about that on Sunday. We'll get into the season 1 Alone.
What else did I do? I watched I went back and watched an old school movie, Double Indemnity.
Is that Hitchcock?
Remember Huh?
Is that
no,
Hitchcock?
It's not, but it's film noir, and it might as well be a Hitchcock. But it's with, of course, I'm going to...
Gregory Peck?
Barbara Stanwyck. No. You know who it was with, which really surprised, because we grew up somehow and then it was Nick and Knight. We used to watch My Three Sons.
Oh, of course.
Fred McMurray, is that his name?
Yeah.
The dad, who was in this such a simple, dumb sitcom, but he was a badass, and he is the movie Double Indemnity.
Oh, no shit.
Yes.
Wow.
And Edward G. Robinson's, see?
Yeah.
And he's there chomping on his cigar. It's all cigar with that guy, the whole movie.
Nice.
But it's a very good movie. It's in most people's top 20 movies of all time.
I'll watch it. The other thing we're supposed to watch together separately because of quarantine is that Jimmy Breslin and Pete Hamill.
Gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should we do that
Big
for
time.
Sunday?
Let's do that for Sunday.
Okay. Let's get real quick to Dear Abby.
Okay,
and then we'll close it out.
Quick Dear Abby for you. Let's see if I can find it. Found it. Dear Abby, although he has never hit me.
Oh, I am all in on this letter.
I almost just want to stop there. It's such a strong start. I honestly am looking at the economy of words. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 words. I don't know if you could start one off juicier than that.
And not, he has never hit me, although, so it immediately makes you think it's just short of hitting her. And I don't know what that is yet.
Although he has never hit me, my husband has been emotionally and verbally abusive ever since our wedding 5 years ago. One of his favorite names for me when he's angry. We read these advice columns. Remember the one, he always calls me baby, sweet baby, baby, sweet baby.
Yeah.
This one's a little different. One of his favorite names for me when he's angry is fucking bitch.
I love that Dear Abby put that in. She only gave you F ... and B ...
It's weird that they only gave 2 letters in fucking, but it's the N apostrophe. She didn't even anyway.
Yeah.
I know this is my fault. I don't know. This letter is packed. This letter is dense, man. One of his favorite names for me when he's angry is fucking bitch. I know this is my fault because I have tolerated it.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I do not think that is the view to take. Anyway, here we go. Today, Today, my 2.5-year-old daughter, who is usually a good girl, threw a tantrum and called me that same name twice.
Oh, shit.
I try to discipline her, but she doesn't understand that she's saying something bad if daddy can call me that.
Whoa.
How can she? He blames me for her talking that way. Wow. Saying he hasn't called me that in a month. He called me that last week. That was parenthetical. He called me that last week. I don't use that language.
I love that they're bickering about whether he called her a fucking bitch a week ago or a month ago.
In front of the daughter.
Yeah.
He's not denying.
Right.
I have suggested marriage counseling in the past, but he refused. I can't leave him because I am 7 months pregnant with our second child.
Oh, that fucking
How do
bitch.
I get both of them to respect me? Disrespected in the past.
In the East.
Oh, right. Sorry, disrespected in the East. Yeah, it's not in the past.
Where to start? Jesus. How about starting with birth control, first of all?
I know.
How do you let that guy get you pregnant again?
That fucking bitch should not have gotten pregnant again. Also, if two people in her house are calling her that, maybe.
Yeah, you have to stop
Maybe
and look
she's
at yourself. Yeah. I don't know. Here I got to think that what do you do to the daughter who's calling you a fucking bitch? Because you can't hit her. And the more she knows not to say it, the more she's going to say it. I think you got to just move. I think you pack your shit and you just say, you two are on your own. I'm Audi 5000 with the baby. Take the one in your stomach. Go.
Well, I remember reading, I don't have it pasted here. I remember reading the Dear Abby response, and it was basically, you have to go right away to individual therapy, and you have to tell your therapist about this, because this is obviously an incredibly bad and toxic situation in the house.
Right.
And also, Abby, to her credit, maybe she's been through this. I think Abby's been called a fucking bitch once or twice in her career, her storied career. She said that it was an interesting point that the daughter is not obviously meaning any disrespect. The daughter can't operate on that level. When they use foul language and all that, it's for attention.
Yeah.
To get your attention in either a positive or negative way, obviously in a negative way. So anyway, yeah, but that's a tough one. And I don't know with all the time you have, writing Dear Abby is your first move.
Right. I think the clock is ticking a little faster than U.S. Postal Service, and then writing, her writing and publishing it. I obviously have never called my wife anything horrible in front of my kids, but
Okay.
when we're in my room, my daughter apparently says she can hear everything we say because she's right next to us. And, I have kind of a running shtick where I call her a bitch and a whore. And it's kind of just for laughs because my wife, as you know, is like the nicest human being on the planet. And
Yeah,
it's
that bitch is pretty nice.
It just makes me laugh that I say these horrible things. And my daughter has never confronted me on it. And I never know if she knows I'm being ironic or if I'm this monster behind closed doors.
Yeah. Well, I think next time it'd be like, stop listening, you fucking bitch. I'm going to talk to this whore for a while. Meanwhile, I just yelled that in here. My two daughters are in the next room. But imagine this guy now reading the paper like, that fucking bitch. You're going to air our dirty laundry to Dear Abby?
Yeah. Jesus. Although he's never hit me. All right.
No,
Listen,
there's a couple of
we're
things
way over.
wrong there.
We're way
okay,
over.
We're done.
I want to remind people the Grapefruit Simmons t-shirts.
Look
which
at
are
it.
A high quality cotton. They're going fast. I got a new shipment like 3 weeks ago, and they're about 3/4 gone. So get online, go to fitzdog.com, get a gift for somebody, buy it for yourself. You've got one, Mike.
I do. It's in here. So I see it. It's in my closet. Hold on.
How come you never wear it?
What do you mean? It's in the laundry. Look at it.
Hey,
Look
now,
at it.
that. Good
I
quality.
love it. It really is good quality.
All right, so we'll see you guys on Sunday with a very big show we're excited about, as always. And Mike, anything you want to promote?
Yeah, Earl Campbell. I thought of that when I was at the beach. I'm like,
running back for the Houston Oilers.
I loved him, man.
Yeah, he was great.
I'm just
Thick
gonna
fucking thighs.
Dude, no, they were like size. They were like 38 because everyone would talk about people's waist with your belt fit around his thigh. He was just this machine. I hated his team. I didn't even care. But I remember watching him run all over like the Pittsburgh Steelers and stuff. But I just thought, whenever you ask me and I say nothing, why not give a shout out? Why not put his name out there in the air, in the ether? Like, in other words, he meant, like, I love the guy when I was little. I hope he's, I've read up on him a little, not since, but like a year ago. And because of all the abuse, he's in a wheelchair, I think, because everything is shot. His hips, his knees, everything.
Right. No, I remember Franco Harris was a guy like that. He was, I just love watching Franco Harris. Those guys were so fucking thick, and they just ran through people.
Go to YouTube, man. Those, I'm sure, I haven't seen them. I'm sure there's compilations of Earl Campbell running. You will be amazed.
Football season starts, is it this Sunday? It's this Sunday.
Thursday night's the first game, actually.
Right. Okay. So we can talk about that.
Tonight.
Don't forget our sponsor, MyBookie. Go there and bet. Okay. We'll see you on Sunday. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Put it on, if there was a hurricane, put it over the windows.
Wrap some antiques in that shit.
Start a fire. Kindling and newspaper.
No, but not in California.
No. All right.
Take it easy.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's Thursday. It's time for Thursday Papers with Mike and Greg.